Welcome back. My name is Kit.
My name is Madison.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things, streaming The Boys.
The Boys.
It's your boys coming back to kill some soups.
I want to address some controversy on our The Boys coverage here, okay? Now, I say a lot of things that are wrong, a lot of things that are untrue. However, you guys try to get me sometimes on situations where that's not happening, right? A lot of people were upset, making fun of me. Oh, he doesn't know about poetry. I do, but the screener that we were given, the episode 5 title said Jabberwork, which is clearly a typo. Some Amazon employee made a typo, and I don't fault them. I'm not going to jump on their case the way that you get on me. But
wait, I didn't know that they changed it.
So it's Jabberwock.
Jabberwock. Okay.
It wasn't some obscure reference to the Jabberwock like we were trying to figure out. It was in fact just Jabberwock.
Jabberwock.
So everybody listening was like, what do they mean? They don't know what it means. And also, why do they keep saying Jabberwork? Is this like a wolf scenario?
Listen.
A wolf Jaws thing?
Yeah.
Listen, we were given the wrong name.
I love this ongoing segment. We need to come up with a new title for the segment where Kit Laser's just like, listen, all y'all, quit coming at me.
I talk funny. And that bothers me as somebody who has nothing else in life, no skill other than the gift of gab. I actually don't have that, is what I'm being informed. And I think, and I said it in the Discord and I'll say it here. I think it's logical, somebody from Boston, somebody from Louisiana, somebody from New York. Oh, their accent, so charming, so fun. But if you're from Kentucky, you just talk wrong, apparently.
I guess.
It's not wolf. It's wolf.
It's not oil. It's oil.
You know what I mean?
It's not washing
water.
machine.
It's winter. Yeah, it's washing machine.
Washing machine.
Washing machine.
Sorry, I talk wrong. My bad. At least we have the hottest cousins.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I just wanted to address that. So sorry about the Jabberwork, but this episode is titled Dirty Business. Episode 6, Dirty Business.
Or so we think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's Dirty Deeds. I don't know.
It's hard to fuck this one up.
Yeah, it's true.
I feel like, but pretty confident. We'll see. If you've never listened to the show before, we're going to be doing the deep dive after our overall thoughts, play-by-play, scene-by-scene reaction of the episode, followed up with a bunch of fun segments we call Diabolical Moments, our top 3 favorite moments of the episode.
Fucking diabolical.
And then we're going to delve into our Vought Vault and find any Easter eggs or behind-the-scenes content that we can glean from the text, if in fact there is any to be gleaned. And then our compound VIP nominations, our favorite performance of the episode. That's how it's going to go down. You can email the show at streamingthingspod@gmail.com and follow us on Patreon at patreon.com/streamingthings to hear our Game of Thrones coverage every Wednesday. Popping off. People are delighted. You can join in there, especially if you're a fan of our House of the Dragon content. It makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Also, people that are patrons currently can actively vote on our July special movie, our extra special movie. And the choices are comic book movies that fall in line with our coverage of The Boys.
Yeah.
Which are Sin City, losing just no chance in hell at this point.
Poor Sin City.
But the real race is between the other 3. It's very close.
This might be the closest poll we've ever had.
A 3-way race for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear them.
We've had 2 ways closer, but it's Watchmen, Logan, and V for Vendetta.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you like comic books, you like The Boys, you might like one of those movies. So sign up, vote on which one you want to listen to, and you can listen to it if it wins.
Democracy is so important.
If it doesn't
become
win,
a patron,
you'll still listen to a great episode because the 3 that are in the race, all 4 are great movies, but the 3 that are in the race are very good.
I love all of those movies.
I do too.
I think I've seen Logan. I've seen V for Vendetta and Logan. Very good.
Never seen The Watchmen?
When they ask the question, who watches The Watchmen, you are not one of. You are now counted among them.
I am the unwatchman.
So I'm curious what you guys thought of episode 6 of The Boys. Things are cooking. Things were revealed. Certain members of the pod were shown to be correct in their predictions.
Okay,
so on and
Steve.
so forth. I'm not going to reveal who. Could have been me.
You're right.
I don't know.
We don't know.
I'm right about things sometimes.
Don't get jabberworked, listeners.
Madison,
what did you think of episode 6?
My initial reaction to episode 6 was I had a good time with it. It's like hard to like to rank these and like, oh, this one's the best and this one's not. I feel like I feel like this is still the weakest season thus far, but I'm still content with where the episodes are and how they are turning out. It almost seems to me like there's a little bit of a routine, like a formula that these episodes are falling into. And it's working, like I'm engaged and I'm here for all of it, but I'm still not like, oh, like this is a wow factor type of thing. I don't know. I would say this episode though, I think the tail end of this season thus far has been better than the first part of the season. Overall, I had a good time with this episode. I liked some of the twists and turns that we got to experience. I like kind of the mission that the boys had to go on and the Batman adjacent character that we had. I thought that was really fun and cool. Overall, I had a good time with this episode. I liked it.
What would you say is you said they kind of falls into a formula. What would you say that formula is?
I think it's kind of like the boys are given this, I don't know, they're given this like mission that they have to, like a heist almost, and they go on that heist and then something awry happens and they have to save somebody. And then like Butcher is in with this like choice decision that he has to make, like how he did with Ryan. I think it was in episode 3 or 4, similar to how he is with Samir in this episode. And then Hughie is like distraught basically throughout this whole season. And so I don't know, I think there's just been like reoccurring themes throughout each episode. I mean, maybe that's normal, I don't know, but I've just been noticing like, oh, like this kind of feels repetitive in a way. But again, it's still working. Like I'm still engaged and I'm wanting more. I guess how I felt watching seasons 1 and 2 has almost kind of become, I don't know, diluted away in a way. Is that the right word? Diluted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that works.
So I don't know, but I'm still in it. I still like it. It's fun.
You're still in it to win it?
I'm having a good time.
Still a team player?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, my thoughts on this episode can be summed up with the simple phrase, #Steve was right.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Literally walking into this, I was like, I bet Steve's fucking right. And the first scene confirmed it for me with Butcher.
Really?
Yeah, because Samir didn't acknowledge Jeffrey Dean Morgan at all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And this is something I think people were pointing out maybe earlier in this season, but I really started picking up on it last episode. It was kind of funny where when the reveal happened that JDM, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Kessler, if you will, is a part of Butcher's imagination, that he's being hallucinated. You know, I kind of did a little fist bump, like, yeah, fucking clone it. But then I was also like, it would have been cooler if it was like a couple episodes away. Then they would reveal it. Then it would feel so much more epic. But anyway, it's still fun. Overall, I actually do like this episode. I think it's on par with the last episode in terms of kind of keeps the momentum of going of, you know, last episode was Return the Form, and we're still form fitting, if you will.
Go on.
Literally, there's some like spandex that's form fitting in this episode.
True.
I didn't watch Gen V, so I'm not super familiar with Tek Knight as a character. I really enjoyed him in this episode. To the point where, you know, the episode ended and I was like, aw, kind of wanted him to be around a little bit more, a little bit longer. I liked what he was bringing to the table.
Well, now you can watch Gen V and get a bunch more Tek Knight.
Yay! Is he in it a lot?
He's in it a decent amount, yeah.
Okay, all right. Now my interest is expanded in watching Gen V. But no, I thought his was great. I love how he's this, you know, Batman-esque character, and they even have that fun little inside joke when he talks to Homelander, like, the two best heroes, and Homelander's like, you can't even fly. right. You're fucking what?
And
we're not the same.
Robin's just like a gimp.
Oh my gosh, that's that character?
What do you mean, like Robin?
Like the red leather person?
Yeah.
Yes, he was like, that's my sidekick. And it was like,
I think his name is Ladio.
I literally didn't even make that connection at all. It just blew my mind.
What's the Batman butler's name?
It's Elijah in this, I think.
Yeah, it's Elijah. I can't remember.
Alfred.
Alfred, thank you.
Oh my God.
I couldn't. So, like, full
As a
disclosure.
Batman nerd, I just died a little.
My sinuses are so messed up, my brain's super foggy. So like I'm gonna be very slow and not as funny this episode and not as quick.
Your brain's not jabber working?
No, it's like MM came and shot me in the head and it's still regrowing, you know?
You're still in like
You're in baby brain mode right now.
I could really go for a Crunchwrap Supreme and a Sybian is all I'm saying, right?
I don't think a Sybian would help you.
Challenge accepted.
You can try.
But no, I thought this was a fun episode. And as a political junkie, it was just kind of fun to see them like, hey, we're going to a Federalist Society meeting. Like, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
So it was great to kind of see those jokes get flung around. But Kit Laser, what did you think of this episode?
I enjoyed it well enough. I have to be honest. It's never fun to be a co-host of a podcast talking about a show that you're not like super obsessed with, because you don't want to ruin it for anybody listening, but you don't want to lose your listeners, but you don't want to lie.
Right.
And so I was, I love The Boys. Like, this show is great. I've loved the first 3 seasons, and Gen V. Rushed through every episode as fast as I can, became obsessed with them. I read all the comics long before the show came out. They're not even that good. I just like this shit, However, I really just don't like this season that much. I don't know. I can't even put my finger on what is not compelling to me, other than I think, Madison, you touched on something pretty to the point. There's diminishing returns of a lot of this stuff for me, which I think is what you were saying for part of that. Yeah, so I agree with that. I'm in. I'm going to keep watching it, but I've had all 10 episodes or all eight episodes of this for, I don't know, 2 months now, right? And at no point, like, normally when I get screeners, I'm like, oh God, it's everything I can do to not watch the next one, because the shtick for streaming things is that we kind of stay on task and we don't spoil future episodes by knowing what's going to happen. We like to kind of sound dumb sometimes. I mean, that's like a huge battle for me.
Yeah, we like to sounding
dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? We want to get our own theories out there and stuff.
We definitely do it on purpose.
I don't feel tempted at all to watch episode 7 when I finish 6. I'm just close my laptop and go work on a different project. Whereas like even something like Reacher, you know what I mean? Like, I tear through I watch eight episodes in a day. I was trying to review episodes 1 and 2 of a show called Presumed Innocent, which is on Apple TV Plus. It's fucking fire with Jake Gyllenhaal. I watched every episode in that show immediately. Like, just couldn't. I was obsessed. I break the rules on our House of the Dragon coverage sometimes a little bit. I'm just
this
like,
motherfucker's seen episode 4.
I'm just like, I gotta know. But with that's all I'm saying. Like, I am having fun, but I'm cognizant of the fact, like, I am not completely sucked in, for sure. You know what I mean? None of these threads hold any. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, what's Sage up to? I don't care. I'm okay watching it. It's funny. It's entertaining, but I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However, this episode, which I think definitely the first time this season, I was brought to tears. I cried. I had to break down, had to like take a little breath.
Oh, you cried?
From a character I was surprised by. A plot thread I was surprised by. It hit me hard.
I think I can guess which one.
Can you?
Maybe.
I'd like to go ahead and have you guess.
Is it Kimiko?
It was not.
Ooh.
That wouldn't surprise me. I love Kimiko.
Okay.
Karen Fukuhara is my queen.
It was when Tek Knight was getting stabbed in the leg.
I was like, Tek Knight, no. He just likes to bust nuts. Leave him alone.
Blue balling him.
How do we torture a masochist?
Was it
Wait. I know what it is. It's when A-Train brought the kid A-Train brought MM to the hospital.
It was that moment. Yeah. So anyway, I think there's some really good stuff here. Again, I love what they're doing, giving MM some more like screen time and more front-loaded plot threads. I love what they're doing with A-Train finally, because they've been kind of teasing an arc for that character for a long time. Hate what they're doing with Starlight.
Yes.
Hate what they're doing with Butcher, if I'm being honest. Yeah. So and those are like really important character. And Hughie, to your point, is just like, I don't hate what they're doing with him, but I'm like kind of tired of it. Like, this dude has been through the ringer so much. Like, he's not the little what's going on guy anymore. At least he shouldn't be. And those are my thoughts.
I mean, I feel like there's several ways to critique this, and I don't know if it's just like, again, the payoffs of what I was expecting isn't necessarily happening, and I don't really know what I was expecting, but I guess just like there's not as much satisfactory to where these characters are currently. And yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious enough to have confidence in where they're going, like whatever it is. I mean, they're building up to something, and whatever it is, I'm excited to see. But I don't know. It's been, like I said, hasn't been hitting as hard as season 1 and season 2, but we're here.
And season 3?
And season
You didn't
3.
like that one either? Oh.
Season 3 is good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think, like I've said it before, and I still feel that way. Like they have somewhere they're going that is awesome, and they could have done it in season 4. Mm-hmm. And this is just the product of taking the long way around to have an extra season. You know, I bet Amazon was like, Eric, my man, give us 5, baby. Come on, blood of boys.
You like money?
It's like, oh, I guess we could put a lot more anal jokes in and kind of flesh it out.
Yeah,
I guess
definitely
we can
flesh that
let
out.
Starlight have an abortion off screen and make that a whole plot thread.
Yeah.
Should we, at every conceivable moment, have Starlight just have her eyes glow instead of ever actually using powers or doing anything? Yeah, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do that.
It's crazy to me. There's like a supercut online where like all you get of Starlight's powers are her eyes flashing and someone going, you better not, because I'll kill you. And her going, good point. I suck. I'm weak.
I'm a flashlight.
Dude, it's like 13 times in the past 4 seasons. Like, she's a superhero. Let her use her powers. Jeez. Yeah. I don't know what they are either, but that's because you never use them.
Right.
Any use them. Those are our rambling overall thoughts, meandering, if you will. Let's get into the deep dive of episode 6, where we're going to talk about it scene by scene, what happened. It starts with Kessler, Butcher, and Samir, who is chained up with one leg on a little mat. Where'd they get that mattress? You know?
I have no idea.
On the street.
These are things I wonder.
That's a street mattress. That's a bed bug mattress that someone threw on the street.
Crawling up his
stump. Yeah.
They tell him, Butcher ultimately says, you've got a week to create me a version of the virus that can kill Homelander, right?
Yeah,
I'll let you go.
He's got a little sheep head and an igloo cooler.
And with Madison, it was during this scene that I realized Steve was right. I was going to text him. And by the time I was going to text him,
Steve's like, hell yeah.
It was already revealed.
Steve is right.
Yeah, I knew almost immediately because knowing like what you had said last episode, I was watching Samir to see if he would look at JDM, and he did not that entire scene.
And how could you not look at Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Exactly.
It's hard to do.
Exactly.
He's gorgeous.
He's just a magnetic person, you know? Put a bat in his hands. So watchable. We cut to Hughie spreading his dad's ashes with his mom, Daphne, at a Made in Manhattan tour. Talking about this is where Ray finds that, you know, it's funny.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, would Hugh Sr., this is new information to me that it was a huge Made in Manhattan fan. Like, I thought he was like, I want to go on the Da Vinci Code tour.
Yeah.
I want to go to the Remington Steele tour. What, he loves Made in Manhattan too?
It tracks.
This guy has depth.
You think so?
He has multitudes.
I bet he
Hugh
loves
Sr. contains multitudes.
I bet he loves Matthew McConaughey prior to the McConaissance more.
Oh, yeah,
He's
definitely.
a huge Fool's Gold fan.
Man, I love Girlfriends of Christmas Past. That's my favorite Christmas movie.
How is he not actually with Kate Hudson?
Literally.
Failure to Launch?
Hey, I like those movies too.
That was Failure to Launch?
I think
right?
so.
Okay.
I couldn't tell if you were making fun of Fool's Gold because I really like that movie.
It's kind of, it's
that's
pirate
right.
adjacent.
Fool's Gold, yeah.
I'm not. I like those movies. So
All right.
I smoked a lot of weed and watched that movie.
All right.
That and Bridge to Terabithia if I wanted a good cry.
Okay.
Good times in my life.
Okay.
Had one of those mattresses that
Deep
Samir's
cut.
got, you know. Kamiko is sad about Frenchie in the back. And I like, there's this line where his mother is like, who the fuck are your friends? Because he's like, oh, she's just sad because her friend turned himself in for killing a bunch of people for the Russian mob. And, you know.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And she's mad because he didn't say anything to her about it. Yeah.
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 And then Kamiko's at the prison to visit Frenchie, and he has refused visitation. So that's very sad.
Very sad.
Doesn't even want to talk to her.
Yeah.
And then Firecracker is now the evening news anchor because Cameron, the previous anchor we saw get murdered as the leak in the 7 at Vought, which...
We're just like a couple years away from a show like Truth Bomb being the main news, like primetime news channel. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like having a woman dressed the way that she's dressed, going like, truth bomb, y'all. Jewish space lasers coming at you. Like,
Well,
we are so close to that.
I think
Very
Cameron
close.
was like the Tucker Carlson.
Definitely.
And
I'm
now
just asking questions.
this is full on firecracker at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
It's the next logical step
Yeah. Makes
And-
the most sense.
in our march to hell. Yeah.
And MM's trying mindfulness techniques because he's having severe stress issues. And then
What do you think he's listening to? Like, I guess we heard a little bit. It was like a woman who's like,
It's probably like Gwyneth Paltrow's Gloop app or something. Is that right? Is it Gloop?
I think it is.
is
It's-
is Gloop an app?
Probably.
I thought that was just her company.
I think
don't
it's
know.
her company.
She's got vagina scented candles.
Oh,
How did she capture her scent?
I don't know.
You know?
We all wonder that.
I read that book, Perfume. Have you ever read that?
I've seen the movie
not
Perfume.
gloop.
How does he get the scent, you know? Is it goop?
Goop.
Okay. Not gloop. Gloops is what it sounds like.
I like Gloop more.
Yeah, it's more fun.
Goop sounds like something they sold to kids in the 90s who watched Nickelodeon.
That's gack.
Yeah.
I'm going to start my dick smelling candle.
Oh my
gack.
God. Gack. Ugh.
Well, like gag. Am I right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anybody wants to buy a gack candle? Smells like
No,
my
but what
dick.
is
I mean, think about it though. Not to derail with Gwyneth Paltrow here, but if I just had it, if I just popped up online, like sponsored video, I paid for this to be promoted on Instagram, and I was like, "Hey, Kit Laser here, y'all. I made a candle that smells like my dick. I thought y'all would enjoy." That would be weird, right?
That would be very weird. That would be very weird.
And I would have like 3 sales.
What you really do is you just repackage like cotton candy scented candles and you just say it smells like your dick. So people are like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, cotton
Wow.
candy? Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Wow.
Too sweet for my taste.
But I would
good
also
for
have
you.
it look like a dick with a little wick in the pee
Yeah.
hole.
You have your dick wick.
And I would make it huge and say that it was a cast and it smells like cotton candy.
Hey, you guys are going to do the dick wick lick challenge?
I'm picturing the commercial now. You light it for like a nice romantic night, and she like walks in. She's like, "Is that no wink?"
Is that Kit Laser we're smelling?
I would show.
Smells like cotton candy. in here.
No shame to Gwyneth, but I just think
Cool.
I would be weird if I did that.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. But that's what that reminded me of. Annie Hoozle. That's how we used to use the old Annie Hoozle. So yeah, she's an anchor. MM is doing the mindfulness techniques. A-Train calls him panicking in the middle of him trying to calm down.
They killed Cole.
Cameron, yeah.
Cameron Coleman.
You said killed Cole, and I was like, God, I wish.
I wish. Cole Paul.
Thinking of our House of the Dragon coverage.
Killed Cameron Coleman.
by the way-
Coleman.
Cole.
I'm going to get it right.
He's terrified of being killed, right? This made me think, not for the first time. Do you think Homelander could kill A-Train?
Yeah.
I think so.
Why couldn't he?
How could he catch him?
If he caught him,
How could he catch him?
laser eye him.
I just feel like he's pretty fast.
I think, yeah, A-Train has speed. He can get away, but he's going to have to live
But
the rest of
also,
his life looking behind his back.
Homelander is under the impression that A-Train is an ally of his. So I mean, they're going to be around each other.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I think it would be difficult, but I think
It's just-
A-Train is still right to be fearful.
It's way easier for Homelander to not be your enemy. Know what I'm saying?
I know he's not, they're not exact analogies, but I'm not.
The Flash and Superman.
The Flash and Superman is like a legitimate, you could make an argument for either one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He can run so fast, he can like run backwards in time. So I don't think it's a straight like, oh yeah, Superman would crush him. So I was just thinking about like A-Train could probably, I don't know.
I
Maybe he needs
think
to
he
believe
could
in himself more.
Put up a good enough fight.
Homelander
yeah.
doesn't have like super duper running speed. He has super flying speed, right?
Same thing though, don't you think? He could just fly a foot off the ground.
Enough.
And,
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know.
and actually, I don't know how physics works, but if he flew up high enough, couldn't he be faster than A-Train? Because he's, you know what I mean? Like,
Then he can laser him.
you know what I'm saying? You're laughing, but if he's on the ground and A-Train's and then Homelander's in space, even if he was slower, he would be faster. See what I'm saying?
through like
Because
the triangulations.
Yeah, when planes go higher, that means they're faster,
but then
right?
that's all dependent on Homelander's aim to be able to like hit a train.
Yeah, he would need like Saeed to help triangulate from Lost.
Yeah.
Another mystery of the boys
Sexy
revealed.
Saeed.
Revealed, yeah. Stupid, sexy Saeed.
But anyway, I was just thinking, maybe you should be less scared. Maybe you shouldn't be a coward.
I do like the smash cut in this scene because MM sits down. It's like, hold on, okay, let's figure this out. Let's process it together. Smash cut. This is so fucked. When he's telling the rest of the gang
Yeah.
about Homelander's putting together a superhero army.
And they want to go talk to Tek Knight. Like that's what their next objective is, their new mission. And even Starlight says, we need Butcher. Uh-oh, where's that coming from? And she wants Hughie to sit this one out because his dad just died and she thinks he should rest. And he's like, no, I'm good. I want to keep working. I want to focus on my work. Like he's a fucking professor or something. I just want to focus on my work.
Yeah.
I want to put on a gimp suit and
That's my work.
get jerked off on and stuff for a day. That'll really take my mind off my issues.
Right. I mean, really, it'll take your mind off all your issues.
Except for the newest issue. Which is,
it becomes a new issue, but you're not thinking of the other ones.
yeah. I bet when he was thinking, hey, this guy's going to cut me open and fuck the wound, I should probably have sat out today. That's probably what he was thinking.
I should have just mourned my dad.
I should have
I
called
should
in
have
sick
just listened to my girlfriend. She obviously knew better.
Yeah.
every time. MM goes to the confidential informant web weaver.
Web Weaver.
So I get the impression this is a guy they use from time to time to get information, snitch on soups, that kind of stuff.
This was the dude that they got the Starlight information from, is what they're implying. And he's like Butcher's guy, because when MM shows up, he's like, where's the limey guy? He's usually really mean and wants stuff.
And like they're giving him, I guess he's usually getting heroin or something.
I think so.
Some kind of drugs, but this time it's Rohypnol. And it's ridiculous. He wants Mother's Milk to insert this into his ass because he likes to boof it.
Shoot up my pooper, dog.
And my glooper.
Lube's right over there, not the one with the pump. And MM is like has OCD, so of course he's like, absolutely not.
No,
But then he realizes he's got to do it, so he accidentally
they're
sticks it in
knocking
his
him out.
web hole.
Oh.
Pull it out, man! It's my web hole. So this is like a weird Spider-Man joke guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's clearly making fun of Spider-Man. It is kind of a bummer because I feel like, I don't know, I kind of would like to see an actual crack at a Spider-Man parody in this universe. And I feel like you could, this is a character you can pull anything out of, right? And to kind of waste the Spider-Man, and to waste the Spider-Man gimmick on this guy is a little like, that's kind of, it's like you in the same episode where they do this great parody of Batman.
Yeah, I
have
agree with
this
you. I know what you're
great
saying.
parody of a Spider-Man, which is kind of a bummer, but I'll let it go because you do get
But I
shoot
guess
it up my
you
pooper
could-
dog, which is a 10 out of 10 line.
I was gonna say, I guess you could argue that it would almost be like, I mean, not that these other juxtaposition. What?
I'm sorry. Right in the middle of your sentence, I just rethought of shoot it up my pooper, dog.
Not that the other like superheroes that are in this universe aren't obvious renditions of other superheroes, but I feel like if you have like the Spider-Man adjacent character, it's almost like right on the nose, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's anyway.
Yeah.
But
On the nose, like Hughie and Tek Knight's semen.
Yes.
or the web
Yeah.
shit on MM's
yeah,
face
Farts web onto MM's face.
was foul.
Just a little webbing.
And the way that it like retracted like a butthole was just so
It was graphic. Even though it wasn't much, it was graphic.
Okay,
I would have loved to have seen like the MPAA, or do they do the ratings for TV, or is that just movies?
I think
But
it's just movies.
whoever the censors are, when they were like, "Hey, you show like anal like penetration," and they're like, "No, that's a web hole."
It's a quivering orifice.
Very
That's what I would
Very
have put
different
in the TVMA: violence, nudity, quivering orifice.
Undulating web hole,
I
squelching
did.
undulating web hole.
I had to watch part of this episode at work today.
Please tell me it was this part.
It was this part. I watched the first 30 minutes of this episode at my desk at my office during my lunch. I was clocked out. Need to say that.
Yeah,
and
Madison's
I
bosses.
audibly gasped and put my hand over my face when this happened. And the woman that was across the hall was like, "Are you okay?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Just, whatever." Anyway,
Saw a quivering orifice.
I just was so like, "What the fuck was that?"
Spider-Man, right? Well, imagine if the webs came out of his butthole.
Yeah.
cut to Madison walking out with a box and a plant and a photo.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that happened.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
a
but-
very crazy scene.
I love when the scene ends because Hughie walks in and sees MM, who's like traumatized. Like, "Hey, buddy, you want some Purell?"
Yes. Not enough Purell in the world for this shit.
But yeah, they don't give him the meth. They shoot him up with like
Enough
horse tranquilizers or something.
No, it's enough Rohypnol.
Or hypnol.
To knock him out for 48 hours.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Homelander and company, like most of the seven, at this like alt-right party. You called it a Federalist.
The Federalist Society.
But they call it an alt-right party. That's what Starlight says. But I don't know what a Federalist
they
is.
call it a Federalist party in the scene when MM's talking like, "We got to go spy on them," and Tek Knight's hosting a Federalist Society party.
Yeah. What is that?
So the Federalist Society is just the society of people who basically just install all the right-wing Supreme Court justices. Like that's their whole thing, is they get partisan judges on the bench. Is basically what they're doing.
So is this like the Freemasons? Is this like a branch of?
It's just conservatives who just want conservative judges. That's all it is. But they have kind of lost the plot in recent years, as it said, and they just all kind of suck.
Yeah. So this is where a lot of people shit on each other. Not literally, which is rare for this show, but like Homelander shits on Tek Knight in the way that we talked about earlier. You're not a real, you can't even fly. And then Sage shits on Ashley. Like, what are you doing here? You're not in charge anymore. And Ashley's like, "I got a personal invite from Tek Knight, so get out of my face." And then Tek Knight goes on to talk about, "Oh, this isn't TV money," because Firecracker wants to come up and be like, "I'm on a show now. I'm going to be like you soon." Oh, no. This is generational wealth. So
11 generations of money. We started off as slave catchers.
and then he looks at A-Train. "My old granddaddy would have caught you,
You would have given him a run for his money, but
Yeah.
we would have caught you.
Oh,
It's so wild, dude.
But
crazy.
But we learned that Tek Knight actually like owns all the private, or at least a ton of private prisons in the country, and he's like, keep it in house. I tag them and I bag them.
Oh.
And Hughie is dressed as Web Weaver, and he's trying on the new suit, which stinks so much
Times
so
Square
You
Elmo.
look like a Times Square Elmo.
that. And then Hughie,
You smell like wet ass and broken dreams.
she won't even kiss him.
No.
That's got to be stinky because she loves him. But there's a limit.
But it's good that he smells like that, because I guess Tek Knight has like heightened senses, and so he would be able to smell Hughie, I guess. And
He's
so,
like Sherlock Holmes on meth.
right.
That's how they describe it. Hughie sees that the vice president-elect is there, along with all of the seven, and starts to panic. He's just supposed to plant some bugs and get out of there. And we don't really know a whole lot about the Sage plan other than to sow chaos so Homelander can come in and save everybody.
Yeah.
But also we assume she's got her own designs beyond that even. But I just want to I don't know them, but I wanted to say it out loud to make sure that, we're all on the same page with what's going on there.
I almost feel like the Sage plotline has taken a back seat a little bit. I don't know if you've felt that.
It has a little bit. They're definitely working through it, but it's kind of been more refocused on. So there's the overall plot, but then a part of the overall plot is installing Neuman as the president. So they want to get all these one percenters in. One percenters. They want to get all these guys who own like 30% of the GDP of the United States to like back Neuman, and in case that there's a coup, because these are the people who like are the real
Movers and shakers
in the country. Yeah. So it's been laser focused on Newman's role in the plot, but we don't know Sage's full plan as of yet. But we also don't know why exactly Web Weaver would be invited to this.
Not yet. We'll find
yet.
out soon. So Tek Knight comes up to Web Weaver and he's very polite and, "Hey, I'm going to give you the full tour." And Hughie's just trying his best to go along with
here.
it. Yeah, dog. Love it, dog.
Yeah, everyone's at the party. Like we even see like Homelander kind of giving Neumann a little shit. Like, "Oh, did you hear about Stan Edgarts? He got out of prison, and all reports say he had a great scarf."
He did. We fucking loved it.
But yeah, so Tek Knight is giving him the tour. Hughie's being smart and kind of pointing out like context clues for the boys who are listening in on this conversation.
Oh,
like,
those orchids.
oh, great orchid prints in the stairway.
Yeah.
And
Dog.
Yeah. I love how he keeps throwing dog in there. And they finally get to the library, and he's like, you want to, this is my library. I got an original Uncle Tom's Cabin because Tek Knight's apparently like an old generationally racist family dude.
Just many, many generations of it.
But Madison, to the Tec Cave.
To the Tec Cave.
To the Tec Cave.
Let me show you my Tec Cave.
He pulls out the book, which I believe is the Marquis de Sade book. That is the lever that opens up the elevator, just like in his movies. But I'm sure not like in the movies. It doesn't go to like a cool cave with like suits and Batmobiles and all this stuff. No, it's just a BDSM dungeon.
You just see like whips and chains.
Giant dildos in the background.
Candle wax dildos that say kids.
Kid's dick.
Kid's dick.
Smells like cotton candy. I don't blame him.
Hughie's like, do you have a kid's dick lit?
And we've got this great Alfred analog with Elijah, who's had to spend decades just cleaning up cum stains and getting rid of weird shit.
There was this joke that made me laugh so hard because it's a really old political joke, but he's like, man, I love Elijah. You really need a father with a guiding hand. And he starts yelling at him, like, what are you doing? You didn't get all the Santorum off the gibbet cage. And so if you go on urbandictionary.com, Santorum is defined as a foul-smelling, frothy mixture of fecal matter and semen that dribbles from someone's anus. The name was that name was given to such of a mixture because of Rick Santorum, who is like a really super right-wing religious anti-gay guy. So of course they took his name and made it a slang for such thing.
I love that.
But when they threw out the Santorum, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't heard that slang since like the late aughts. It made me laugh so hard.
So wait, say it again. What is the official
Santorum?
Santorum, yeah.
Okay.
Again, foul-smelling, frothy mixture of fecal matter and semen that dribbles from a male partner's anus.
Oh, it has specifically to be a male partner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. See, that was over my head. I didn't even know what a gibbet cage was.
Thank you for deep diving that for us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm on a watch list now. Thanks to my search history.
Your computer was flagged.
Yeah. Someone found out about the gibbet cage.
Oh no.
But yeah, the last sidekick is in a red gimp suit chained to the wall.
And I guess he's a soup because he's able to kind of bust out of that.
Yeah. Well, he kind of has to be. Yeah.
I guess so.
And it's funny because Tek Knight's like, hey, we're going to have a great party tonight. I know all this is a little vanilla for you, but we're going to.
What is Web Weaver into is what I'm wondering.
What webs does the Web Weaver weave?
This episode of Streaming Things is sponsored by BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
You know, Steve, there's something I need to get off my chest.
What's that, fella?
It's been weighing on me. You know that I resigned at the day job recently, right? And I've been a little scared. There's a family to worry about. There's health insurance. There's capitalism.
Sounds like a stressful time.
But we all carry around different stressors, big and small. And it feels better when you bring something to the light and keep them bottled up. It can start to affect us negatively. And therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down. In my case, it's all of the stress, the misery, the fear. But I had to come over here and share that with you, and I felt better. You know, that's a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
Unloading all that on you and Erica and feeling better myself.
That's sounds like my Friday night.
Sometimes you just need somebody to listen. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you're not vibing, that's completely fine. So get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/streamingthings to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/streamingthings.
It's the month of June, and it's a very special month because our Patreon tiers just got a huge upgrade at patreon.com/streamingthings. And I want to thank the very special patrons who signed up to be super patrons of Streaming Things, keeping the lights on for us day in and day out. So thank you so much to Album Stinkpot, Digimon Digital Monsters with a much longer name, but I'm only saying those 3 words, Dylan Dunkleys, Stanton Valentino, Maddlestat, Susie Callahan, Anthony Corona, Parmesan, Sunshine, Ashley Hazen, Just Liz Calabria, Mike from New Hampshire, Brett X, Emily Scarano, Lil Tickler, Svento7, Jay Scramo, Blothpum, AK Ashley Ray, Adam Busby, Wendy O'Laughlin, Big Butthorn, Conrad, Jer Lektanovich, Kaylee Sampson, Rabbit Dog in a Barbie Car, Elpander, Charlie Friday, Alexis Adler, Peaches, Emmy, Haley B, Joe Velez, John Collins, Trisha Bueller, Sun-Loving Mortal, Suzanne Rode, Jen Robinson, Kalisha Reeves, Paula Garcia, Kevin Strother, Ashley Powers, Stephen V, Casey McCain, and Enza. Thank you all so much for supporting Streaming Things. And with that, let's get back to this episode.
And then after all this big tour and we're assailed, our senses are assailed by all of this shit. We go back to Black Noir, who's drinking liquor with his mask off at Homelander's desk. He's all depressed. This is not the acting gig that he wanted. There's no interiority to the Black Noir character. He's not allowed to do anything. And he tells the Deep, shut up, man. We're a joke. It's fine. I'll just sit here.
They won't even let me fly. Did you know I could fly?
Yeah, man. Everybody knows you can fucking fly.
He wants to go to Missouri and be in the Bee Gees musical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know he could fly. So there's that.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing you can.
When the Deep who cannot is like, who cares?
Right.
Bro, I'm important. I don't know, but speak for yourself. I'm really important.
I've got all kinds of shit that's like need to know that you don't need to know.
Bro, if you wanted to know about the real Black Noir, you should have come to me. He and I were like tight. We were bros, bro.
Which they weren't.
No.
But also, there is a little line that's really funny, like an allusion to season 3 when he says, all he's got in his closet are 7 pictures of
7 boxes.
Something like what is the beaver's name? I forget. But it's just little cartoons that he would always hallucinate.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like, and even the Deep is like, whoa.
Why would he have that? I don't know.
But he gives him this big speech about how violence is power, which is one thing that he also hates is hurting people.
But Black Noir, he would that story where he had to go to the locals because they were complaining that they needed the river to survive or some shit. I don't know. And he went over there for Vought and he was super horny. He had a full-on erection for 2 weeks after that. Nor love violence.
It's true. It's true. And while this is going on, they cut to Starlight, Kimiko, and MM in the van, and they can no longer hear Hughie now that he's in the Tec Cave. So Starlight says, we're going in, goddammit. And Kimiko's down, and MM has no choice but to go along.
But they got that halothane gas.
Mm-hmm. And we're cutting between Butcher as well, who's puking his guts out. The tumor's really getting to him because he started coughing early in the episode.
That bloody puke looked bile. It looks so disgusting.
That was me after I got food poisoning from the sushi.
You were doing that?
Oh, it was full Butcher. And Becca showed up.
Becca
and
showed
it was
up.
like, oh, hey.
I told you not to go there.
Told you not to get the sushi. The hibachi wasn't enough, though. You had to push it.
And then Jeffrey Dean Morgan showed up.
He was
Unrelated.
Eat more sushi. Unrelated. But yeah, she's trying to stop him. She says, you're going to kill one Homelander just to end up with another. That's the best line of what she has to say.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do what needs to be done and keep you happy.
Good Butcher. Say diabolical.
Fucking diabolical.
So good. Flossing my brain.
We cut to Kimiko, Starlight, and MM are entering the estate.
Kimiko lost her phone.
She did. That's how she communicates.
That's why she can't, communicate with
It's
people.
sad.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to have to find specific books now or something.
She's going to have to find other ways to communicate.
And there's this pretty funny scene between, I think, the Speaker of the House and Victoria Neuman, where he's mansplaining abortion to her, as she puts it. But he's saying, if the rape is legitimate, we'll be able to tell. And
And I love how she blows her own head up.
She imagines blowing herself up.
That was so relatable. It was insane. Oh,
that surprised me because I thought it would have been his, if anything. But
yeah, no, it was so funny. I love that scene so much.
And then she goes to the guy, the waiter or something. It's like tequila shots, reposado, keep them coming.
Keep 'em coming.
And I love
Ooh,
that
stunning.
only because I've gotten really into reposado recently. So it's like,
Okay.
oh, girl, yeah,
Yeah.
let's party.
Get it.
What is this reposado?
It's just a type of tequila. Yeah,
Is it like gloop?
it is like gloop. Yes.
Good tequila.
Yeah. I guess. Is there a worm?
No, it's not a wormwood.
Damn.
It's like smoother, I think.
Oh, okay.
Is there still salt and lime involved?
You can, yeah.
Sure. Do you raw dog tequila?
Well, yeah.
Are you a raw dogger?
Oh, yeah.
Santorum?
Gloop.
So, and then she goes up to Sage, and Sage gives her this speech about, we learned a lot about the character in this scene. You know, she says, hey, when I was a kid, my grandmother had like stage 4 leukemia. I cured it within 3 days because her superpower is that she's the smartest person on earth, right? And nobody believed me. Nobody cared. So that's why she's like, I didn't even think about this for her character, like what she could be doing with her powers. But she's like,
Yeah.
I could cure cancer.
Reverse global warming.
I could do it, but for what? Nobody would care. And, you know,
one
the
would
lines are
listen.
too long at Vought Land anyway.
Yeah.
So she's just incredibly cynical because of the state of the world and how people, I think it says a lot, like how people reject good ideas and people with intelligence. Society, on the one hand, won't accept help, you know, and she's just become so jaded that she's doing what she's doing now. And she's telling Neuman, like, hey, chill out. So, I know how it is.
I love that line. She says,
Fuck them all.
Yeah. There's 2 lines where the first one is Neuman asking, why are you telling me this? It's like, well, because you know what it's like to be a little girl that no one listens to. Fuck them all.
Yeah.
And then she's like, the only way to get ahead in this world is one hand in their pocket while the other slits their throats. Like, oh, fucking diabolical.
I mean, I do
Love
agree.
it.
Like, I do agree with what she's saying. Like, I think there's her kind of what you said, Kid, about her being like cynical of the world, but also like, I think her and Neuman both being women, like that angle as well is very represented here. Like I liked that scene. And even in my notes, I was like, okay, period, sis. Yes.
Yeah, Sage is maybe one of my favorite characters of this whole franchise. Like, I love her so much.
And then Firecracker shows up. And it never occurred to me because it's so obvious that I should have occurred to me. But when Sage says, oh, hey, Cracker, because her name's Firecracker, but I loved it so much. And she tells her this is an exclusive party. Fuck off, basically, right? And so
Maybe the bar has some Sunny D and Everclear.
Firecracker gets so sad. She walks away, trying not to cry.
This is a really good moment for the character because it starts with the character getting some of the hors d'oeuvres and she just, it's gross
Doesn't
to her.
like
So
it,
so it's like they're really doing a great job of showing like Firecracker does not belong in this space.
It's a class issue too, right? And
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to gloss too far past the fact that Firecracker is like a known pedophile and stuff too, right? So I don't want too much sympathy there, but I do respect what they've done with like letting you know how people are radicalized in this country, what it does look like, you know, just by being, I don't want to phrase it that way, but you know what I mean? Like there's some rejection and things in our society that push those people into the pipelines, right?
Right.
That they've tried to show with Firecracker specifically, I think.
Well, I mean, even later on in the episode when after Firecracker's taken out, like one of the 1% people are like, Homelander starts doing the jingoistic type stuff and the one person's like, save the boogeyman shit for the idiots at Fox News, right? Like,
yeah, that's what he's good at, is appealing to that base. But they're like, no. We don't actually believe any of this. We just want more money and power.
Right.
So how do we do that? You know? Yeah, that's a good point. So yes, she storms off, and then we cut briefly back to Webweaver, which is actually Hughie in the Tec Cave, who is being forced to sit on a chocolate cake.
Mush it.
Mush it.
Mush it.
While
Now fart.
Tek Knight chokes himself. But I don't have to fart.
After he says now fart and they cut to that wide shot of him like sitting pants down on a cake and you get to see him like, I don't really have to.
What kills me is throughout all of this, they occasionally cut to the Gimp, who's just like really interested.
Is he gonna fart?
And then Ashley arrives, super hyped up to be a part of this dungeon.
I left you a present. I left a present for you in the changing room.
It's not scat.
This time.
Aww. And then they give him sandpaper to clean his ass.
And And Hughie's like, oh.
Just one sheet.
Oh.
Butcher is talking to Kessler, and there's this whole bit where it's military shit, right? Like, how coming home was harder than going on the last tour. Shopping for towel. Basically, the plot of the Hurt Locker, like when there's that bit where he's like in the grocery store looking at all the cereals.
Mm-hmm.
The guy watching Sports Center isn't me. The real me likes to hear him scream.
Yeah. So who is the real you? That's the question. That's the theme for Butcher's arc, at least in this episode. Is
Kessler the grown up dude from Stranger Things who we would joke was jerking off watching Sports Center?
Maybe so. He's definitely sociopath cop, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tek Knight's down there at the real party, and Ashley's going nuts. She's got her whole suit on now. I'm going to pee on your face, and I've been just eating asparagus all day.
I'm going to put my swollen clit on your face.
And
Oh God.
and Hughie's like, oh, yes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cut your dick off and eat it because I am 100% a cannibal.
Oh, I love that.
Love that.
I'm going to be wrist deep in your pink asshole until, I don't know, something about shit.
And then he tries to like say his quote unquote safe word and
Spiderweb.
yep. Uncle, stop.
Sorry, I just
say random
I just like to
shit.
say random stuff.
Tarantula.
And then Firecracker, meanwhile, is crying in the bathroom, and she runs into Starlight in the hallway. Starlight has a lengthy apology. No, I'm not a separate person. That is me who said that. And honestly, I've done a lot worse to other girls. I'm very sorry. You're a piece of shit, but I'm incredibly sorry for my part in that. I think it's paraphrasing pretty well. I was really confused about the stabbing, but I guess it was the gas.
Yeah.
It was the knockout stuff.
I was also I don't know if anyone else felt this, but I felt that there was some queer undertones here. I don't know if anyone else got that.
You're getting sapphic vibes?
A little bit. Maybe
You thought
that's
they were
just
gonna
me.
kiss?
Yeah. Because I forget if we had discussed it or if I had seen it, but we had kind of like alluded to like Firecracker maybe having a crush on Annie and like that being like a huge issue with like her being super conservative and like not believing in like, people being gay and stuff. And like that was like her own internal like struggle. Mm-hmm. So like I was like, oh, maybe that will manifest in this moment. And it didn't. And I was a little bummed.
Oh,
but
you thought like
that's okay.
Firecracker was going to try to kiss?
Yes. And like that was
That would have been cool.
That would have been kind of like this, crazy, like, so that's like a little added element of like maybe Firecracker like just had feelings for Annie or something.
I like that interpretation of the character. I don't know if I got that they were going to kiss in the scene. I thought maybe that because Firecracker does seem like she's gearing up to say something back to her, almost as like, hey, yeah, like maybe this was going to be the first step in them reconciling.
Yeah, it was a little
perhaps.
sad.
Yeah.
But in her moment of like starting to be vulnerable, Annie's like, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I think Annie was sincere, but also on a mission, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't risk it kind of thing. And we cut to Ashley just busting a big old nut. And I wrote, not sure how, but later it's explained she was tickling him and taking care of herself. So
yeah.
I was just like, what is going on with the feet there? But now I get it.
Go get changed and replenish your fluids.
I guess Tek Knight came too, and that's his juice that he puts on Hughie's mask.
Oh, that was
hers.
No, it was Ashley. Ashley did that. She I love how defeated Hughie is because she wipes it up his face and he just goes, thank you.
Yeah. Oh man, my suit is full of cum. It's like peanut brittle in there.
down there.
What's your safe word? Because now he's suspicious because he's been saying all these random words. And finally Hughie goes, because he's like, it's your favorite thing in the world. It's your favorite thing in the world, Web Weaver. You know what it is. Lube. At this point, Tek Knight unmasks him and says, I'm glad I know who you are. I'm glad you're here.
Campbell.
But before I call the big man, one thing I get tired of about people is they've always got the same holes.
It's so boring.
You got to make your own holes and fuck them. Like we didn't know. It reminds me of like when Steve and I are vamping and I make a joke that I think is like so obvious we can move on, and then Steve will run in and go and fuck them. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I was implying.
Yeah.
Just making sure nobody missed that.
Nope. Gotta bring
That's
her
the last
home.
time I'll ever compare you to Tek Knight, though.
Please don't.
And then MM and Kamiko can't find Annie now at this point. They follow the orchids at Hughie's instructions from earlier upstairs. But Sage is waiting in there. And so he pulls a gun on Sage and she keeps inching toward the alarm for the house.
And she's like bringing up Janine. And
Yeah, she knows all kinds of shit about
daughter.
his family and the issues that his daughter's having. So he shoots her in the head. But recall that her brain does heal. It's the only thing that heals.
She has a Wolverine brain.
If he just shot her in the heart, she'd be dead.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's too savage, too good of a shot. And then MM has what he thinks is a heart attack. We later find out it's a panic attack, but he drops out. Kimiko calls A-Train, goes downstairs and like throws a fucking Alka-Seltzer in his champagne somehow.
It's a good shot.
Yeah, for
It
sure. But
was,
why does she have that? What is that? What's going on right now?
I'm just picturing like a bunch of those little things on the floor. Like she tried several times.
Yeah,
Like-
we didn't see the 7 other tries.
Yeah, like pew.
She's a superhero. So he runs up there. Sage is now gone. There's just a bloody stain on the floor.
Ooh, where'd she go?
She has to communicate with him with the books from the library. So she finds one that says hospital and he's like, fuck no. And then she finds one that says easy to kill. Did you take that as her threatening him like he did, like as he did?
I didn't think
I don't know
was.
what else it could mean.
I think it was just maybe MM's easy to kill.
Like he's gonna die
gonna
or something.
die easily because she's only working with what she has.
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
says that
For the love of her daughter, or
Yeah.
his daughter, or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
for the sake of his daughter.
Sake of his daughter, yes.
Good thing that was there. It'd be funnier if it was just like Great Gatsby, you know? What the fuck does that have to
It's
do with
just-
anything?
Harry Potter.
Just each issue. Goblet of Fire?
I love the idea of this is what Tek Knight's been reading.
It's just pirate smut. The whole
Sea of
library.
Ruin. I don't understand.
Oh,
At this point, Starlight shows up right as A-Train does agree to take him to the hospital. And she's like, what the fuck? And downstairs in the Tec Cave, he's about to make that hole in Hughie and the Robin analog. What did you say his name was?
Ladio.
Ladio's been
Ladio.
trying to bust out this whole time. Kimiko drop kicks Tek Knight at the last second. And then Ladio busts out. But before we get that, we cut back to A-Train. He drops MM right on the gurney of an ambulance. And this kid sees him. And he smiles. And like there's this moment where A-Train gets to have someone witness him actually saving somebody. And I
He
did
likes
not
it.
see it coming, dude. But it broke me. I was like, what? I didn't know I cared this deeply, but I am in.
And I love that scene because of how this show is. When he first sees the kid, I was like, oh no, he's gonna
rat on him.
kill that kid because he doesn't want to witness. But then the kid smiles at him, and then he's like, oh no, I'm a hero.
Yeah,
He's going to get addicted to that feeling, actually
Yeah.
being a hero. I love it.
That rush.
it was nice.
I've been waiting a long time for this turn. And Homelander runs into Sage and he's like, where the fuck is everybody? And he sees the hole in her
going on?
head. And she says, I once ate a whole bag of candy corns. And I love that she pluralizes it. That makes it so much funnier. He's like, what? Oh, God, I need a Crunchwrap Supreme and a Sibian. To get your shit together.
Damn girl, get it.
So he
Get it.
needs her to give the speech to all of these Federalists and break down the step-by-step plan. And he's like, fuck it, I'm going to do it without her. So he stands up. And again, like Steve said earlier, his whole shtick is preaching to the idiots and all the buzzwords and talking points. And they're like, fuck all that. What are we going to do about the cabinet? What are we going to do about the Supreme Court justices? You know,
Yeah.
he doesn't know
What
the
about
answer.
OPEC, the military?
He doesn't know the answer to any of that shit. It's going to be good. You know, it's going to be a
These are
process.
great
this is good. I'm glad we're
Sage
talking
will
about
answer
this.
all of them, and it cuts to her, and she's like just eating that chocolate cake.
Yeah,
A different one, but the same kind that Hughie
Yeah.
was sitting on.
I wish it was the same one.
Yeah.
She's just getting that butt cake.
butt fart cake.
And one of the congressmen's like, you got a little hitch in your giddy up there, Homelander. And then finally, the VP-elect, Neuman, stands up and gives a rousing speech.
There are no nations, just corporations. And you deserve to not have regulation at all. Just do whatever you want.
The U.S. is not a democracy.
I mean, you're billionaires. That means you're smart enough to know what's best.
And then she looks at Sage. Sage nods, and there's like this moment until Sage keeps nodding. And Neuman gets weirded out.
And Newman's like, what? Okay.
Tek Knight wakes up. He's now tied to one of his little sex torture things. And again, my note is not the Gimp watching the whole time because he's still back there like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And he's like, oh, yeah, hurt me while Kimiko's stabbing him. And I love Kimiko's little shrug, like, okay.
Okay. Sure. How do you torture a masochist?
And finally, when Ladio busts out, he shows them his bank accounts. And that's how you torture a billionaire masochist. So they start donating millions of dollars to all these.
$40 million to Elizabeth Warren's super PAC.
No,
$65 million to the Innocence Project.
No.
100 million.
100 to the Black Lives Matter.
No, please, God, no. I'll tell you anything you want to know. So funny. Also, he tells them that all I know is that Homelander wanted to use my prisons for dissidents. So they're making internment camps. But at that moment, Elijah starts choking him out, wants to kill him. I've cleaned up after this piece of shit his whole fucking life. But internment camps.
I've cleaned up so much cum out of so many holes thanks to this bastard.
We'll make it look like an accident. He always admired David Carradine. That was funny.
That was good.
I love the super melodramatic moment. It was like, the safe word.
It was Zendaya.
And then Laddie was like,
yeah, his little
goofy little wave.
His little wave by, like he's just hanging out. That's where he lives. He's fine with it. MM's awake in the hospital. It was not a heart attack. It was a panic attack. Whatever you're doing, you need to chill out before you have an actual heart attack. Been there. And then we cut to Kamiko is at the visiting room at the jail again, crying, and no one else is in there. And
she has nowhere else to go.
Firecracker goes to Homelander and tells him about Starlight, and he's mad that she let her get away. And by the way, Tek Knight's dead. Cameron Coleman was in the league, he says.
Oh no!
And so Firecracker tries to spin it on Sage, saying, "Hey, she's either lying or useless." As tits on a pig, or one of those colloquialisms.
Lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Sorry. I was thinking of tits because the next part of the scene.
Sure.
And Firecracker gives this speech. She's like, please let me talk. You are everything to me. She unzips her shirt and he's like, look, I'm not attracted to you sexually. And she says, it's not about sex. It's about loyalty. And then squirts him in the face with breast milk. And he is shooketh.
Oh my God.
That is his butt cake
He's
fart.
just like,
Anthony Starr acting is so funny. And this is like,
but you're not pregnant. You can take a laundry list of drugs to achieve this. Enlarges your heart a little bit. You do that for me?
I'd do anything for you.
And then she's feeding him like a baby.
Mm-hmm. Who's my good boy?
Who's my good boy?
that's a good boy.
Does she burp him?
I assume afterward, yeah. You have to.
You have to.
You don't want to get a gas bubble and then you can't sleep.
Oh my God, a fussy Homelander? Oh no.
Oh no.
Not a fussy Homelander.
And then, did you take a poopy? And then,
Did you take a poopy in the chocolate cake?
the boys are listening to all the bugs that Hughie planted at the party. And so they get the gist of the coup plan. And then Huey's all PTSD'd. And he's like, Ashley rubbed one out while she tickled my feet. And Starlight is like his girlfriend. Oh my God, are you okay? And he's like, I'm not fine.
I'm not fine. I miss my dad. He would tickle my feet.
And then Samir tells Butcher that he can't do it. Like he literally can't. Because making a virus strong enough to kill Homelander would evolve into something unstable. It would become airborne, highly contagious, super lethal. It would become a global pandemic and wipe out every soup on Earth. And Kessler's like, oh, that's fucking great. And then Becca pops up like, no, what about Annie, Kamiko, Ryan, right? And Samir's like, yeah, Zoe. You're like, I can't do it. I won't do it, right? The wrong hands to put this virus in is your hands.
And Becca's like, yeah, you can't do this. Please don't do this. And then Kessler goes, will you shut your cank hole, bitch? What? They're talking to each other?
Oh, shit. And Butcher's like, wait, you can see her?
You can see it. It would be funny if he took it the other way and was like, Becca's real. Just like went on for a whole other episode.
You're back. Oh, darling, this is great.
This is great news. The real Joe Kessler is dead in the Pangier Valley. And Butcher never pulled him out. I would remember that. You wouldn't because you got a fucking compound V brain tumor. Anyway, that's the big reveal that Steve alluded to last time. And that's the end of the episode.
And
well done, Steve.
It ends with Kessler looking at the camera and repeating Butcher's famous line from season 2, Daddy's home.
Yep. And that's it for episode 6. This time.
Sorry. There's one little piece of information that Kessler did drop that I think is important. Is that he killed Ezekiel. So this part of his brain took over and is somehow killed Ezekiel.
Oh, so you think there's okay, I was going to say I disagree that matters because they are all one person, but to your point.
But there's that noodly thing
he
inside
didn't black
him
out.
too.
So you're saying we could have an evil butcher at one point when Kessler's in charge.
I think so.
Maybe, or whatever that like tentacle thing that like that noodly thing we've seen that's in Butcher, but then we saw the bunny rabbit last episode had like a tentacle monster.
Sure.
Like,
So is it kind of like Venom a little bit? Like it kind of takes over?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Not as charming.
Right. Not as hot.
Yeah. No Tom Hardy, but
yeah, you work with what you
Not
got.
not as tonguey.
yeah. No Eminem song version for it.
Right.
Venom.
But
Venom, venom, venom. Venom, venom.
I don't know. Maybe I can see it being either one. Like it's a butcher that is, it's like physical butcher, but he is not himself. He is this alternate person, or it's like another physical entity that is this worm.
Yeah, I think we will
Entity.
see a from someone else's POV, like Annie's or something.
Sure.
Just butcher with the tentacles. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he's like fighting her and stuff
Yeah.
because Kessler's in charge. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's safe to
Yeah, interesting.
say.
Well, now it's time for our diabolical moments, our top 3 favorite moments of the episode.
Fucking diabolical.
Fucking diabolical.
Madison, what is your number 3 favorite moment of the episode?
So I would say my number 3 is, I think it's just more, I liked the scene and how it played out, but I really liked Kimiko having to use the library to talk to A-Train, like having to use the library books. I think it's just a good play on like using your environment and allowing the characters to like, I don't know, almost like the room itself is its own character. I really liked that. So I just think it was just a cool scene, and to be able to use her character in a different way was really cool. I liked that scene.
It adds a little bit of attention to that scene too, because she can't type out what she needs to say, and they're all, I guess, presumably on the clock because MM's right there dying, presumably.
Right.
Oh, and Hughie's about to die. So it's
Yeah.
just like,
It adds
a lot
more
going on.
attention. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a clever way of doing that.
Steve, you're number 3.
My number 3 is a selfish one, and that's just the reveal that
The Saintorum?
the Santorum. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just the reveal that JDM is part of Butcher's imagination. It's just a good like, yeah, get it. Let me pat myself on the back. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. And also, I do like the way it was. There was a good edit in there too, where he like JDM says something, and so now it's Butcher's time to talk, but they cut to the wide shot where Samir is looking at Butcher, looking at no one, saying, "What do you mean you fucking me?" But he's like talking to no one. I thought that was a really good way to block that
Yeah.
directorially wise. But yeah, that's my number 3. Kit.
My number 3 is Mistress Ashley, I think.
That's good.
It's me and KG with the French tickler. Yeah, taking her swollen clit and peeing that asparagus,
Yeah.
you know?
She
Would've
was
pissed like a skunk.
she was prepared.
And just the juxtaposed with Hughie, like, oh, yeah,
Dog.
cool.
Tarantula.
Pretty funny scene. Madison, you're number 2.
My number 2 is when Neuman is talking to that politician and he is mansplaining her what abortion is. And I think it's just like a very good snapshot of what a woman is feeling when someone is mansplaining to her. And it's just the fact that like Neuman has this power to blow up heads and she chooses to blow up her own. Like it's so funny. I think it's a really good I know it's just a really good imagery of like how women feel during those moments. And it'll that scene will stick with me for a while. I really liked it a lot.
Steve, you're number 2.
My number 2 is A-Train being recognized by that little boy, him saving MM. It's just a nice, you kind of talked about it a lot, Kit, earlier. It's just, we've seen this character turn coming for a while, but they've kind of keep pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. So it looks like we're finally there. We're finally at the point where he's going to start going on the light side of justice. So that's my number 2.
My number 2 is, I do love that moment with Victoria Neuman, but I have to go with the sage speech right after that. I think we got some deep insight into why she is the way that she is. And I should have been thinking about why she's not using her powers in a different, more productive way. but I never did, honestly. But she addresses that here, and it says a lot about, I think, our society. And if we even had a character like this, would we listen to them? Would we let them help us? I don't know. But also from a, not just a woman's perspective, but a woman of color and how people treat them and their ideas and let them contribute. And there's just a lot there. And you can see the vice president taking it all in. I just thought it was a really interesting scene that I did not expect at that moment. Madison, your favorite moment of episode 6?
My favorite moment is Steve's number 2, which is when A-Train brings MM to the hospital. And there's this moment of recognition. I think to have this lighthearted moment in this episode, which I feel like didn't have a whole lot of lighthearted moments, or at least there haven't been a lot as of recent. Maybe Hughie's father dying, but it was really nice to like, oh, like there is like a heart to this show. And then also you can't help but want to root for A-Train in a way. And I think he, in that moment, had this like recognition that he had been so much longing for and yearning for. And it was nice to see that recognition play out in that way, especially because you're helping like MM, who is part of the boys. So that's my number 1.
Steve, your number 1.
My number 1 is your number 2. It's the sage monologue with Neuman at the party. For all the reasons that you said, I think it opens up a lot of information to that character. And also it's very prescient for the world we live in now. And I love her. Like, she's awesome. So anytime she has a chance to sort of chew the scenery, and she's just great. She's literally one of my favorite characters of the entire show. So I'm so, if this season ends and it's the worst season of the boys, I'll still be thankful it existed because it gave us Sage. So that's my number 1.
Sage wisdom.
Okay.
My number 1 is A-Train saving MM and being witnessed by the kid and just seeing like someone look up to him and value him. And I have this feeling that he's going to get addicted to feeling good, helping other people now. And I've always felt for A-Train, because he's kind of like the Jamie Lannister of the boys, in the sense that like the first time we see him is him doing this awful, awful shit, and then having like his publicist try to sweep it under the rug, right? So, it's the linchpin. He is like the poster child for what we hate about Soups in the beginning of season 1. But immediately we saw him, hey, you're getting fat, A-Train. This is bullshit, just getting picked on and bullied. And then he's losing his powers and he's freaking out. He genuinely loves Pop Claw, but he kind of Jesse Pinkman's his girlfriend, and that, and so anyway, he's just been struggling for so long with Light and Dark, and it was just really good to see this moment. And I think it's going to be a turning point for his character. I didn't expect. Again, it was one of those like, I was full on out of nowhere crying. And this episode, it felt silly, because it was right after Fart Cake, tears on my face. But yeah, that's my number 1, which brings us to the Vought Vault. And I got nothing. Anything in your vault?
Nothing that I got. No.
I got a couple things.
Can always rely on
We
Steve.
already ruined the Santorum Vault.
Yeah. So sorry, guys.
By the way, Santorum Vault is a weird phrase now that I know what it means.
It's a gibbet cage kit. I brought up Ladio because that is Tek Knight's sidekick. There's not a lot of information about him. I went into the wiki to see if there was a lot more of him in the comic books, but it doesn't seem like there is. Again, I haven't read them, so like I'm not expert on this, but it seems like there are multiple versions of Ladio at the same, as well as multiple versions of Tek Knight. Because in the comic books, Tek Knight doesn't have any superpowers. He's literally like the Iron Man, where he's just a normal dude, but he uses technology to kind of be able to be a superhero. And to the point where the boys don't really mess with him that much, because I guess in the comic book, Butcher has a line like, he's fucking boring. So there wasn't a lot I could glean from Ladio. However, one little thing I thought was fun was when Kimiko is going into the correctional facility to talk to Frenchie, you see that it is the Vernon State Institute or something. Vernon is the surname of Tek Knight. So Frenchie is in one of Tek Knight's prisons.
Yes.
Which I thought was a really cool world building.
I feel like
thing.
We're going to see Frenchie get pulled back into the plot when they start to use the prisons as internment camps, and he'll be in there on the inside doing stuff.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. He's like the inside man.
The inside man.
And then this last one isn't really Easter eggs for the boys. It was just every time they would cut to Tek Knight's BDSM dungeon, there was soft music playing, like music that you would listen to at Q102 in the 90s, right? And so I had to take a list of every song that played whenever they would cut to. There was Baker Street by Jeffrey Rafferty. We had Sailing by Christopher Cross. Sailing away. And then the last one I caught was Rosanna by Toto.
Okay.
So great playlist if you're going to be doing some BDSM in a sex dungeon. Yeah.
In my experience. No, I'm kidding.
Mine would be all dubstep.
Dubstep, really? Yeah. Whoa.
EDM.
For
Just
sure.
like blasting EDM music.
Yeah. Blasting
yeah.
all kinds of things.
Hell yeah.
Music.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our compound VIP nominations, our favorite performance of the episode. Madison, who are you going to nominate?
I am nominating Susan Hayward, who plays Sage. I think she did a really good job this episode. And I think her range this episode, I mean, to be able to deliver a very like powerful, kind of like villainous speech, but also like kind of relatable, the one that she's talking to Neuman about, and then to immediately shift into baby brain, I think is very impressive. I don't know. I think she did a really good job this episode, and that's who I nominate.
That is an excellent choice. I actually was struggling between giving it to her or this other person. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give it to this other person because I haven't given it to them yet.
Okay.
I'm going to give it to Valerie Curry, who plays Firecracker.
She was on my list too.
I thought she has the quivering, I don't want to cry lip down.
I was thinking of web hole and panicked.
I just thought
she's great.
For a character that is like a villain who's definitely on the wrong side of the story, she's very great at eliciting some sort of empathy for that character. Like she's in a terrible spot because of the hand she was dealt in life, and seeing her sort of like, don't let him see you cry, girl. Like that whole thing, it got to me. And then when that brief moment where it looked like she was about to like reconcile with Annie, and right before Annie knocked her out, was like, oh, like, I think maybe we might have like, perhaps, possibly, I'm not, don't hold me to it, but maybe in the future there might be like an A-Train level sort of redemption for Firecracker, maybe? I don't know, maybe. Possibly. Depends on how well that breastfeeding goes with Homelander.
Maybe like
Hope she doesn't dry out.
Maybe like a gesture as she's dying in some way.
Yeah, something like that.
But I don't see her achieving happiness.
She gives the thumbs up as she goes into the melted lava like Terminator and Terminator 2.
Yeah, hasta la vista.
Yeah.
Baby.
Who's your compound VIP, Kit?
I think I got to give it to Susan Hayward as well. Just
nice.
that speech was so, not just the speech, which was great, dramatic acting, but also the ability when she's in like lobotomy mode, like Crunchwrap and Sibian.
So good.
Eating the cake mode. That shit's good. Like when she's full id.
That look she's giving Neuman when they're like nodding at each other.
I'll let you fuck me in the ass while you watch the Ray J sex tape. So just stick it right here, or like that shit's funny. It gets me every time. So yeah, I got Susan Hayward is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Major range.
Incredible.
And that's the end. We got to go return some videotapes. Thank you for listening. Tune in this Monday for the next episode of House of the Dragon. Every Wednesday for Game of Thrones.
On the Patreon.
We've got Patreon only episodes of the comic book poll, but also True Romance this month, as well as other shit, man.
Other shit.
Yeah. Got stuff popping off. Thank you so much for listening. We love you all so dearly. We've got to go return some videotapes. My name is Kit.
My name is Madison.
And I'm Steve.
And this was Streaming Things, Streaming the Boys.
Happy stream.